if we step into the driver's side, right? If we step into, I am the creator of my reality, I am the God of my reality, then those effects that are stated don't have to affect me if I decide against it. What's up, y'all? If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Tierica, and I like to post videos about the law of assumption, manifestation, and mindset shifting, sharing my own personal beliefs and experiences with the intention that you can take something from what I talk about and apply it to your life to create the reality of your dreams. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Okay. Let's talk about Mercury retrograde, and I just want to throw like a little astrology and stuff in there. So, little disclaimer, if you don't know what Mercury retrograde is, if you've never heard of it before, this video might not be for you. I'm not going to tell you what all is included in Mercury retrograde because I don't want to put that into your awareness if you are not aware of what comes with Mercury retrograde. And I don't recommend you go look it up, okay? Like, I do not recommend it. You do what you want. It's your own world, but hear me out. Do not go put it in your awareness if you don't know what it is, okay? That is just from my own opinion, my own perspective. But I am going to talk about Mercury retrograde and how you can make it work in your favor, okay? Because me personally, I used to go through these periods through my life where I noticed I would fluctuate and my feelings would be really, really low. I would be so annoyed. I would want to turn off my phone. I didn't want to talk to people. And it just seemed like things weren't going my way, right? And then I don't know who told me about it, but somebody told me about Mercury retrograde, okay? And I went and looked it up. I did all my research, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense for why I've felt low at certain points, like not even having any, specific dates or anything that proved this is why I felt this way during this time. It's just me and my speculation. Like, that's why I felt like that. That's why I was always irritated, blah, blah, blah. And what I realized now in this version of me is that when it came to Mercury retrograde, once I learned about what it was, then I was so focused on when is Mercury retrograde coming and expecting not the best things to happen to me because I knew what it was connected to. Mercury is the planet that rules, I believe, communication, electronics, travel, things like that, right? So I'm over here correlating the two and expecting things to go wrong within those categories. And of course, they always happened. Now, for somebody who only knows about astrology and doesn't understand the law of assumption, can believe that Mercury retrograde is a bad thing. Mercury retrograde is going to take them down. Unless you were born during a retrograde, then things happen basically the opposite for you. Because what it is for Mercury to be in retrograde anyway means that it's orbiting backwards. So what it affects, what that planet affects is also kind of, jumbled a little bit. And I'm just giving you like the baby version of what it stands for because from what I've seen, I've only seen not the best things about Mercury retrograde. Like anything I ever researched or looked up, it was always just not the best things. So that's where this perspective that I have on it came from. And I just noticed the pattern, in some kind of way, even if I didn't know that it was Mercury retrograde, somebody told me or it popped up on my timeline to remind me, hey, knock, knock, these dates are Mercury retrograde. And I don't want to know that. I didn't want to know that because then here I go back into this mode of expecting negative things to happen to me. So let's combine Mercury retrograde and let's combine law of assumption because the very last Mercury retrograde that we experienced was back during August 20th, somewhere around in that time. And when I tell y'all my whole world went to shit, I'm not going to tell you everything that I went through, but for an entire weekend, things started on a Friday, then Saturday. Sunday was okay, Monday, Tuesday. By Wednesday, I was fed up, Okay. By Wednesday, I was fed up. And if you were watching my videos around that time, and I came on and I recorded a video where I was like, I gotta focus, I gotta lock in, like I'm not going out for 30 days, I'm staying inside. It was because of Mercury retrograde, because my entire reality was showing me the opposite of what I wanted. Okay. I'm talking about my reality went down the drain. Like, whew, it was a trying time. Okay. But thankfully this go round for this particular retrograde, I realized something, and I sat down during my 30 days of reflection for myself. I sat down and I was just like, you know what? You have this belief that Mercury retrograde affects you in a negative way. And because of that, that's what you experience in your reality. And it's all pertaining to the things that Mercury retrograde affects, right? So what I did was, when I realized that this last go round, I decided it no longer affects me in a negative way. Next retrograde, I'm going to be fine. And I told myself that. And if I thought about retrograde, or if I saw something, a post about retrograde, I just reminded myself, hey, you're going to have a better retrograde experience. Like, it doesn't affect you anymore. Okay. And I knew that this one was coming. Like, I specifically looked at the dates for the next one. All right. Because I wanted to be prepared, and still not giving in, I guess, energetically, mentally, just not giving in to what I had already been given into. Like, no, it's not going to affect me in a negative way. Most of the time it's like, oh, here we go, another retrograde. Oh my gosh, it's retrograde again. I tell myself no, because, and I'm going to get into this point too after this, it's just a part of a blueprint. All right. And this is just my belief, okay? But it's just a part of a blueprint. And I'll get to that in a second. But this retrograde comes around, and we're in the middle of it right now. And I feel perfectly fine. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm not crying. I'm not experiencing downfalls that I was experiencing last retrograde. The only thing that I noticed is some days I just felt a little more tired than others, and I just allow myself to sit in that, allowed myself to rest. And I was talking about this with one of my friends, and she gave me a good perspective. She was like, she looks at it now as a time of reflection. Everything in the world, is kind of going, and just use that as your time to like sit down, slow down a little bit, do some reflection, rest. And I love that, because that's technically what I did, as far as the rest part, not so much on the slowing down part, because your girl be on the go. I be doing stuff all the time. But I just noticed a complete change with this. And this is my first time consciously experiencing a retrograde where it's just a lot better. From the beginning, it's a lot better, because sometimes, if you are into astrology and all of that, it'll say retrograde can start affecting you even up to 10 days before it starts, right? Well, that means we're 15 days in, almost 20 days in. I have no negative effects. Life has been great. Okay. So I wanted to make this video for you all who know about Mercury retrograde and you feel like bad stuff always happens to you during retrograde. And for those of you who just might have not the best mindset when it comes to Mercury retrograde. So now I get into the part about blueprints. If you listen to the audiobook that I've recommended numerous times, I Create. No, I'm sorry. It's called One Truth, One Law, I Create by Aaron Worley. If you've listened to that, in the book, they discuss blueprints, and they basically say everybody is born with a blueprint, and that is how your life basically naturally plays out. But aside from that blueprint, when you remember who you are and you know what you are capable of, then you have the choice to either live life by the blueprint that you were born under, or make your own decisions and basically be the God of your reality. And you aren't moved by the blueprint. You are actually moved by your own decisions, your own thoughts, and whatever it is that you're choosing. So that's what I'm correlating to astrology, but I'm also correlating it to Mercury retrograde, right? So Mercury retrograde has this context to it, right? And if we subscribe to that and we believe this context, then based upon that blueprint, we allow that to happen in our reality. And we can unconsciously allow that because we are listening to people talk about Mercury retrograde and beware of this and look out for this and all of this stuff. Well, now we're allowing that into our awareness, and that's what we experience. But if we step into the driver's side, right? If we step into, I am the creator of my reality, I am the God of my reality, then those effects that are stated don't have to affect me if I decide against it, because nothing is greater than the power of you. Nothing is greater than what you decide on, right? And that also goes with astrology, in my opinion. One day, y'all finna get my high thoughts, okay? Because one day I was sitting down and my thoughts were just going, and I typed out this whole notes thing, right? And I sent it to my friend, same friend that I was talking about, and I was like, read this and tell me if it makes sense, because these are high thoughts right now, and I don't know. Just tell me what you think. So basically, I called it themes, but the theme is still the blueprint. Okay. So we are all born. If you go type in the day, the time, the place, the year that you were born, you're going to get a natal chart. Okay. And this natal chart is going to tell you everything. It's going to tell you your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, all of the aspects in between. Okay. And it's going to make up basically your personality, and a lot of things may resonate. Of course, we have that sun sign, that one zodiac sign, and that's what majority people know, but it's deeper than that, right? It's so many aspects, and there's so many other signs that make up a person. So it's more personalized when you look at your actual natal chart, dependent on all of the aspects about you, your birth date and time, place, all of that. And it basically is a blueprint. Okay. And it's a theme of how your life will go, because it's one, like, you get the one reading, but then things are always constantly moving and changing, So again, if you're into astrology, you understand what I'm saying, because today these aspects are doing this, and tomorrow this is what's going to be in the forecast. And you have the opportunity as a conscious creator to allow these themes to play out, right? Or you have the opportunity to decide you want it to go another way. And I basically had this realization because what I wrote down was, we're all born with themes assigned to us, right? And those themes are based on your natal chart, your astrology, your human design, all of that. But nothing is set in stone. So if you are unconscious and you are not aware that you create your reality, then these themes tend to play out, and they have a strong demeanor in your reality. So you see these themes playing out, and you see, the positive and the negative and all of that. But when you become a conscious being and you understand you have full control over everything, those themes really don't hold that much weight. Now you're using it as a tool. Now you're using it as a guide, because now you are looking at what is the possibility, what is a stronger possibility for you to experience, but you still have the opportunity to decide against it, because again, nothing is greater than you. It is you experiencing your reality, nobody else. So it doesn't matter about human design, astrology, Mercury retrograde, tarot, psychics. It doesn't matter. All of those are tools, okay? And they are tools that you can use to your advantage once you understand how to use them. So yes, like I have a friend that is amazing at astrology, amazing. And he's always messaging me, asking me things, or, hey, do you feel like this? Or have you noticed this? And he's always spot on. Okay. Again, this is a belief I've created because I started when he first came to me. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And as he continues to go, and I'm just like, yeah, you're right. Every single time, you're right. Now that's a belief that's been created. So every time he comes to me, things usually resonate, right? And it just shows me that it's a tool. You can't deny it. I mean, unless you want to, but in my opinion, you just can't deny astrology exists, human design exists, Mercury retrograde exists. These things do exist, and they're very much real, but to what extent? And to what extent is dependent on you. You don't have to be negatively affected by any single thing if you don't want to be. You have the power to decide. And that's what I did with this retrograde. Like last one, I'm telling y'all, took me down to the ground. All right. Took me down. I said, oh no. I realized I was limiting myself. I realized I was accepting what Mercury retrograde was. I actually had a client the other day that was getting her lashes done, and she was telling me that her sister, like, she was complaining about a bunch of stuff that was going on, and it was going real bad for her and real wonky. And her sister was like, it's because it's Mercury retrograde. Now, that's how, when you're unconscious, yes, these forces can have the power to play out in your reality, if that makes sense. Like, it's just a theme, right? It's just a blueprint. So she's experiencing these things because I do believe that, these planets are influencing things, right? And again, that's just my belief. It's just my belief right now. That could change. I could have a totally different perspective next month. But for where I'm at right now in my journey, I do believe that, So then she's asking me, what is Mercury retrograde? And I told her, I'm not going to tell you, and don't go look it up. If you don't know what Mercury retrograde is, don't put that into your awareness, because again, things show up when it is put in your awareness. Okay. Things can show up when you know about it. So once I knew what Mercury retrograde was, then I created this expectation for negative things to happen with it, because so many people were stating that as their experience. That makes sense? So now, as a conscious being, I'm not affected by that. It's cool. I'm glad it's Mercury retrograde. Wonderful. Now I'm just going to rest and relax. Nothing is going to happen to me. Like, everything's okay. Everything's perfectly fine. And you have the power to decide that. And I want you to understand that. So if you are somebody that, sees Mercury retrograde as a bad thing, or you use astrology and something comes up that says it may not be that good for you, and that happened when my friend was telling me this stuff. He was like, oh, and this thing may or may not happen, and it was kind of a not so good thing. And I was like, wow. I love that, because I just started affirming for this specific thing, and I actually started affirming for it to be in a positive way without even knowing that this was already in my chart. It was pertaining to health and the health of someone. So when he's telling me it could go this way or that way, I love that he allowed that option, because it's like, there's no one way. There's no set in stone, nothing. The only thing that's set in stone is how you create your experience. You decide on what you want, and it becomes your experience. You keep deciding on what you want, and it happens. That's it. Like, that's the only thing that you are meant to do. That is it. And then enjoy your experience. So if you are somebody who believes in any of those things and you have felt defeated before, I intend that from this video, you can basically take away the fact that you are the one that's in control. All right. Nothing has power over you. And all you simply have to do is decide. Decide that it doesn't affect you in a negative way. Decide only good things happen to you. Or if there is something specific in your chart, in your reading, that you see, change it. You have the ability to do so. Because nothing is impossible. There are no rules. There are no laws. None of that stuff exists. It only exists because you believe that it exists. Okay. So change your perspective, change your perception on all of those things, and you will see how your reality will change. Okay. Yes, those things can have an influence on you if you're not knowing, but you're on this video. You know that you're the creator of your reality. You know that you're in control. So don't allow anything to control you. Don't allow a single thing, not even the planets, not even an astrology reading. Okay. Don't allow that stuff to control you, because you're only giving your power away if you do. Step back into your power, claim what is yours, decide what you're going to experience. Okay. Because again, these things are just themes. It's just a blueprint that you have the ability to change. All right. So if you have any questions or comments for me, please leave them down below. If you would like any guidance or assistance with your manifestations, I do offer phone and email coaching. And until December 31st, the phone call coaching, different ones are on sale right now. They're on the website, and you don't have to put in a code. You'll find them. If you would like to join my membership, I do have it on YouTube and Patreon for those who don't have YouTube membership in their country. I have 2 tiers, the Creator Circle, and I also have group coaching. Group coaching has everything Creator Circle offers, plus you get one-on-one coaching with me. You get weekly live streams, and you also get videos made to your submissions. The link for that is going to be in the description below. And we just started a 30-day extreme self-concept challenge where we are focusing on our self-concept and really focusing on being consistent. And I'm actually doing daily check-ins in the Facebook group. So if you're interested in that, the link is in the description below. If you watch this video until the end, I appreciate you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.